everyone. This week I read Sea Otter Heroes, The Predators That Saved an Ecosystem. It is by Patricia Newman, illustrator. There are actually various photographic contributors to this book. Published by Millbook Press in 2017. It is a non-fiction book. 46 pages, most appropriate, I think, for grades 4 to 6. It won the Cyber Medal Award this year. And it is the story, it's a true story, about Brent Hughes, who is actually a marine biologist, and he grew up here in Kansas, so I thought that was really neat. After college, he discovered Elkhorn Slough. It's off the coast of California. He traveled there after his studies to be closer to the ocean, because obviously we don't have an ocean in Kansas. And surprisingly, when he got there and was at that slough, he saw that seagrass was growing healthy there and was very strong, and that wasn't typical for that type of ecosystem. And so what this book does is take its readers through the scientific method. Brent Hughes develops multiple hypotheses for why that seagrass is growing like that. And then as the book goes on, he actually accredits that to sea otters. So it follows his research and his discoveries, including his acknowledgement that both the bottom of the food chain and the top of the food chain both have power over a marine ecosystem. So this book is a really great read for students because it introduces them to many layers of an ecosystem, especially for students here in Kansas who aren't close to a marine ecosystem, an ocean, or have even seen one before maybe. So it kind of introduces them to a new environment. And then they also get to learn about food systems and the scientific method. So it goes with a couple of different subjects. I'll show you some examples here. So there's not illustrations per se in this book, but there are photographs. So I think that sea otters are adorable. So of course I really enjoyed them, the photos in this book. But it talks about all sorts of things. So here you can see Think Like a Scientist. So it really gets the readers involved. It's not just reading facts, basically. So that's why I really like this book. At the end of this book, there's actually a suggested class activity that I really loved. So students use a variety of materials, PVC pipe, grass with the roots attached, buckets, dirt, and then the fun or gross, depending on how you feel about things, materials are grasshoppers or crickets, and then a spider. And so what they actually do is make a mesocosm, and they find out the benefits of trophic cascades firsthand. So it's their own experience to see how a spider influences the neighborhood ecosystem. And now remember, the spider is going to be the predator. The cricket or the grasshopper, of course, is the herbivores. So I would have my students break into small groups. This is an ongoing project for 2 weeks where they watch their ecosystem that they've created and see how it progresses, see what happens. Are the number of grasshoppers disappearing, or is it vice versa? And is the grass flourishing in their environment that they've created? So I just think that's a really cool project. I was glad to see that at the end of the book. And this is a really fun book. So I would encourage you all to check it out. Thanks.